Before we proceed further, request you to please subscribe to our channel as shown above. Hello friends, welcome to Kamath Astrology. In this video, we will cover another interesting topic. So in this video, we will analyze the horoscope of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy. And right now, I see a very dangerous threat to his life due to a Maraka yoga being formed in his horoscope and getting activated. So in this video, let us analyze how this Maraka yoga will show its impact and when are the most likely times it will have a very strong impact. So currently Volodymyr Zelenskyy, the Ukrainian president, is undergoing the Moon Mahadasha, and in that he is undergoing the Guru Antardasha till 5th October 2022. And you can see that the months of April, May and July are extremely dangerous. So what I see is the period from 21st April to 15th May 2022 and again from 26th June 2022 to 24th July 2022 is very dangerous for the Ukrainian president, and there is an imminent threat to his life. Now, Volodymyr Zelenskyy was born on 25th January 1978, 2 p.m. in a place called Kryvyi Rih in Ukraine. You can see that he is born with the Taurus ascendant, which is ruled by the planet Venus or Shukra. So the letters LA shows the Taurus Lagna. The first house lord is Venus, who rules the sign of Taurus. You can see the sixth house lord is also Venus, who rules the sign of Libra. And the first and the sixth house lord is Combust, that is very close to the sun. So Venus, the first house lord, is placed in the ninth house. He is also the sixth house lord placed in the ninth house and is Combust. This is the reason why Volodymyr Zelenskyy is troubled by his enemies. The sixth house is about enemies, diseases, debts, and when the sixth lord goes in the ninth house, it brings enemies, it brings problems into the person's destiny. You can also see a Parivartan Yoga formed between Saturn and Sun. That is, Saturn is in Sun's house, Sun is in Saturn's house, and therefore the Sun is not weak, neither is Saturn weak. So while his destiny gives him extreme fame because of this Parivartan Yoga, the sixth house Venus brings problems in his destiny. Now, the lords of the second house, the seventh house, and any planets placed in the second and seventh house are strong maraks for an individual. So, whenever there is a connection between the second lord and the seventh lord, the Marak Yoga gets activated. So now, because Jupiter is placed in the second house of Gemini, it becomes a very strong Marak. Jupiter is also in the Mrigashira Nakshatra, which is ruled by Mars. Now, what is the sign of Gemini? It is the natural third house in the zodiac belt. It is an airy sign. It is a dual-natured sign. And what does Jupiter represents? Jupiter represents travel through the air when placed in Gemini, which means Jupiter represents planes and missiles. In this case, as it is placed in the natural third house of Gemini. So because this is the second house from the ascendant, Jupiter becomes a very powerful Marak. Now look at the third house. The third house is the sign of Cancer or Kark, and you can see two planets, Ma and Mo, that is Mars and Moon, placed there. Now moon is the third lord in this chart. The third lord represents effort, it represents courage, it represents neighbors and siblings. So Mr. Zelenskyy is indeed very courageous person because he has Mars with moon there. But Mars is a strong Marak because it is the ruler of the 7th house. And therefore, whenever the moon Mahadasha gets activated and within that there is Jupiter Antardasha, a Marak period gets activated. That is, planets that can inflict death or death-like situations get activated. So currently Mr. Zelenskyy is undergoing the moon Mahadasha. He is undergoing the Jupiter Antardasha till 5th October 2022, and definitely this is a period when the Marak planets get activated. Now if you further analyze deeper, if you see the Pratyantar Dashas, currently there is moon Mahadasha, there is Jupiter Antardasha, and there is Venus Pratyantar till 21st April 2022. Now what is Venus? Venus is the Lagnesh himself. He is the 6th house lord, and therefore he represents threat to the physical body through enemies. If you look till 15th May 2022, there is Surya Pratyantar. Again you can see Venus and Sun are placed together. So the Marak planets are activated. And if you see from 26 June 2022 to 24th July 2022, there is Mars Pratyantar. So these are extremely critical periods, and I would say that Mr. Zelenskyy is currently under immense threat. Now, how can the death inflicting planets work? So this period of moon Mahadasha and Jupiter Antardasha definitely shows some kind of harm coming to the physical body through the enemies. Mainly since Jupiter is the Antardasha lord and placed in the sign of Gemini, which is an airy sign. And Jupiter is also a planet which represents air, and the sign of Gemini is travel and aeroplanes. It shows that some kind of threat through a missile or an aeroplane or a bomb strike is imminent for Mr. Zelenskyy. I am not saying that this will necessarily cause his death, but it will put him through death-like situations, death-like troubles. In this chart, you can also see that Jupiter is the 8th lord who rules the sign of Sagittarius or Dhanu, where you can see the letters ME right now. The 8th house is the house of longevity, and when the 8th and the 2nd lord are connected, there is a threat to the longevity of the native, especially since the Mahadasha is of the moon, who is already conjunct a Marak like Mars, and the Antardasha is of Jupiter, who is also the 8th lord, connected to the 2nd house of Gemini. So definitely this is a very dangerous period for Mr. Zelenskyy, and he should take extreme care right now, and especially more so in the months of April and May, and especially the period after 26 June to 24th July. So these are the time frames where I see Mr. Zelenskyy's life under extreme threat. Now remember that Saturn also has an important role to play here. Saturn is occupying the 4th house of Leo, and he is forming a Parivartan Yoga with the Sun. So what this means is Saturn represents servants. Saturn represents the people who work with us. He represents the subordinates. And this house, that is the 4th house, is ruled by the Sun. The Sun is placed with Venus, that is the Lagnesh and the 6th lord, in the 9th house. And therefore this could also mean that some of Mr. Zelensky's own people, own colleagues could conspire against him and bring a major threat to his life in this time period. Another thing, if you see carefully, is the moon is placed between two malefics, Mars and Saturn. And since the moon Mahadasha is activated, definitely in this time period there is enormous mental stress and threat to Mr. Zelensky's life. So friends, this is what I wanted to convey. If you like this video, please mark it as liked on YouTube. If you have not subscribed to our channel Kamath Astrology, you can do so by clicking the subscribe button. For any consultations, email us at astrosevaworld@yahoo.com. You can also know more about us by visiting our website astroseva.tripod.com. So friends, thanks a lot. Bye. Take care and stay safe.